Robert was 69 when he realized his nights were no longer his own. What should have been hours of rest turned into a cycle of waking, shuffling to the bathroom, and struggling to fall back asleep. By morning, he felt as if he hadn't slept at all. His doctor called it nocturia, but Robert just thought of it as exhaustion that never lifted. He cut back on evening tea, tried different positions in bed, even adjusted his dinner times, yet nothing seemed to stop the constant interruptions. One day, while waiting for his checkup at the clinic, Robert overheard two patients talking. One of them said, "Most urologists say it's not just about how much water you drink, but how you drink it. That makes all the difference." Robert leaned closer, curious. Could the simple act of changing how he drank water help him sleep through the night? When he asked his urologist later, the doctor smiled and explained that indeed, there were powerful ways to adjust water intake that could ease nighttime urination. The first was timing. Robert had always sipped water steadily throughout the evening, thinking it was healthy to stay hydrated. His doctor explained that seniors should front-load their water intake earlier in the day. The bladder worked best when given time to process fluids before bedtime. Robert started drinking more during breakfast and lunch, then reducing after dinner. Within a week, he noticed his first trip to the bathroom came later in the night instead of just an hour after lying down. The second strategy was spacing. Robert used to gulp down large glasses of water after long walks. His doctor suggested spacing smaller amounts throughout the day. Gulping overloaded the bladder, while steady sipping allowed the body to absorb fluids more efficiently. Robert began carrying a small reusable bottle, taking measured sips instead of big swallows. His body seemed calmer, his bladder less jumpy at night. The third was posture while drinking. This surprised him most. His doctor explained that sitting upright while sipping allowed the stomach and bladder to align in a way that reduced pressure, making it easier for the kidneys to process fluids gradually. Standing or slouching while chugging water pushed liquid through the system too quickly. From then on, Robert made a ritual of sitting at the table whenever he drank. The fourth technique was balancing electrolytes. Plain water was good, but too much of it without minerals sometimes passed straight through, leading to frequent urges. His doctor recommended adding a slice of lemon or a pinch of sea salt to one glass a day. The minerals helped his body retain hydration without flooding the bladder. Robert tried it, and the difference was subtle but real. He felt hydrated without constant trips to the bathroom. The fifth was the cutoff rule. Robert had known about avoiding fluids before bed, but he always underestimated how strict he needed to be. His urologist gave him a clear marker: stop drinking 2 full hours before lying down. No exceptions, not even for a tiny sip. At first, it felt strict, but when Robert followed it carefully, the results were undeniable. He no longer woke at midnight desperate for relief. Instead, he sometimes made it all the way to dawn. As weeks passed, Robert found himself waking only once a night, and some nights not at all. He hadn't realized how much nocturia had stolen from him until he felt the sweetness of uninterrupted rest. His mornings became lighter. He walked farther with his wife during their outings, laughed more easily with his grandchildren, and even took up reading again, his mind sharper without the fog of broken sleep. At the senior center, Robert began sharing his discovery. His friends, many of whom struggled with the same problem, were skeptical. But when he explained the 5 powerful ways, timing, spacing, posture, balancing electrolytes, and strict cutoff, they listened closely. Soon, others began to experiment, and one by one, they returned with stories of their own relief. For Robert, the lesson was humbling. He had thought solutions had to come in the form of medicine or complicated treatments. But sometimes, the body needed only small shifts in daily habits. Something as ordinary as how he drank water had transformed his nights. Now, every morning when Robert opened his eyes after a long, unbroken sleep, he felt grateful. The quiet power of water, taken the right way, had given him back something more precious than he realized: his rest, his energy, and the joy of living his days fully awake.